Good morning, people. This is Scott Woods. I'm with Transportation Training Group. I also own Equipment Expeditors. I'm a freight broker, freight forwarder. Used to own a trucking company. I no longer own those trucks. Good drivers, good hands are hard to find. So I sold the equipment, but we still participate in the industry, not only brokering freight, but also through pilot cars. Now, a lot of you guys follow my YouTube channel, which is cool. I put up a lot of videos about brokering freight, and a lot of people know me as training people to open up freight brokerages. Now, I'm going to offer a different aspect to the industry over the course of the next 2 weeks. We're going to make some daily videos and post them on Instagram and also YouTube. Unfortunately, a lot of brokers out there and broker agents are very, very poorly trained. They really don't know anything about the industry. They'll go through one of these damn so-called training programs, and I'm going to use some language here, so please forgive me, but it's the way I was raised. As my father would say, they don't know their ass from a hole in the ground, or they don't know shit from Shinola. My father, he was a retired sergeant major in the Army, and he just kind of put things like that. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm very fortunate that I grew up in the trucking industry. And I grew up where young men as young as 13 and 14 years old were driving tandem coal trucks down the mountain each morning before we actually went to school. Now, a lot of people that I know and I've encountered throughout my life can't believe that. And I'm like, well, I grew up in East Tennessee where there are coal mines. And I actually had friends that lived on the mountain that didn't have running water till they were probably 20 years old. All right. And a lot of people find that hard to believe. I was born in the 60s, but still, that was the case. And I had a lot of friends, along with myself, that would drive these old Mack R9s down the mountain, with coal in them. And here we are, 13, 14-year-old boys. We didn't have a license, and we'd also drive, when it was harvest time, we would pull hoppers in and out of the fields to the grain bins, and basically, it was a different kind of industry. So I was fortunate in that way, but a lot of people are not that fortunate. All right. Now, the one thing that I teach when we're training people how to broker freight is we try to teach them a practical aspect of the industry, because what you new brokers and agents are going to experience is that when you're maybe negotiating a rate with a truck or negotiating a rate with a shipper, they're asking you questions that you don't have a clue about. Okay. The first thing that I'm going to cover in these series of videos is the actual load transition process, not the brokerage process, but what that driver is going to go through each day. All right. From loading that load to transporting that load, everything, basically from problems he might encounter to things he has to deal with on the road. And the purpose of these videos is going to kind of give you an idea, put you in the mindset of the driver. Because as you start negotiating your freight and as you start talking to drivers, he's talking about things you don't know about, okay? And he knows that, all right? This creates a combative relationship between you and the driver. There's a naturally combative relationship between every broker and every driver until you build that relationship. And that's what this industry is about. Relationships with your trucks, relationships with your shippers. Both are equally as important. And a lot of guys are always telling me, I can't get drivers or I can't get shippers. Well, if you maintain those relationships and build those relationships properly, it's not an issue. All right. And a lot of people are always so concerned about rates. It's not necessarily the freight rate. A lot of the times, you just have to speak the correct language and you have to understand what each party is going through. So over the next 2 weeks, we're going to upload these different videos to our Instagram feed and also our YouTube feed. I'm actually out on the road, all right, because not only do I own a brokerage and a freight forwarding company, I also own pilot cars, and I'm in one of my F-250s out here playing around. I don't get to come out and play around that much anymore, and that's what I call it, all right? I love working the road. I love getting out here with these drivers, and I'm going to be out here. We're transporting some Caterpillar 777s. For you people that don't know what I'm talking about, that's a really big rock truck. We're taking them from Phoenix, Arizona up to Seattle, Washington, and we're going to show you some things about the equipment, what the driver goes through, teach you a little bit about what's called heavy haul. And that's what everybody wants to get into in this industry, and that's primarily all that I work with anymore. Unless it's 100,000 pounds, I don't mess with it. You know, the biggest load I ever moved was 580,000 pounds. I made about $75,000 on it. You know, there's a tremendous amount of money in it. You know, and a lot of people that get into this industry can never imagine that. You know, and what preempted me to start making these videos, like a lot of people, I follow social media channels and things like that. And there was a kid that was posting, you know, he had a very simple little load yesterday, a little 80,000 pound excavator. He was looking for an RGN and he put it on Facebook. And I was like, well, you're not going to find one there. And all he did was put the dimensions on it. All right. And what he actually needed on this particular excavator, because of the track size and things like that, he needed a stretch RGN. And I'll go into that as we make these other videos. And I just commented, I was like, well, you might want to ask that driver how much he needs in the well. All right. And that's a part of the trailer. Now, the reason I even commented on this post to begin with is because of what I said originally opening this video. So many people are poorly trained that they don't know about these things, and they're out there trying to sell them. Well, let me tell you right now, that's a great way to get sued. All right. And you don't want to do that. So it's best to learn your product, whether it's heavy haul, whether it's refrigeration, whether it's dry van freight, hazmat. If you're trained correctly, you'll know how to sell it. You'll make more money at it. You'll build better relationships with those trucking companies and also those shippers. Now, forgive my appearance this morning. I'm unshaven. I just got out of the Holiday Inn Express, had me a cinnamon roll, you know, and I'm ready to hit the road. It's about 6 a.m. at the old Flying Hook. I'm sitting in Kingman, Arizona right now. We're on our way to Phoenix, and we're going to let our adventure begin. So be sure and follow us. Check out these videos. We hope you find them useful. And if you want to learn to broker freight correctly and make more money, you know, whether you're a trucking company and want to establish a new profit center for your trucks, you know, or you're an individual just wanting to open up your own home-based business, go to our website, www.freightbrokertrainer.com, www.freightbrokertrainer.com. I'm the #1 trainer in the industry. I've been in this industry over 25 years, and we can definitely help you out. We're not one of these fly-by-night cowboys, and I've got, you know, I laugh because, you know, there's about 4 or 5 guys here on YouTube that have went through my program, and 2 weeks later, they're trying to teach people how to broker freight. And I'm going to go back to shit from Shinola. They don't know shit from Shinola, but they'll teach you just enough to get you sued. Well, we're going to teach you how to make money and how to have a very good business and stay in this business correctly. Go to our website, www.freightbrokertrainer.com. Thank you, and follow the videos over the next 2 weeks. I think you'll enjoy them.